Sit down.
Hey, they like it. So did you hear the one about the rock band who wanted to play with the symphony? This is no joke, friends. We're having some fun up here, and we want y'all to have some fun out there, because that's what it's all about. This one is usually titled Of Wolf and Man, but tonight it's Of Wolfgang and Man. I don't get it.
Dad joke.
I love dad jokes.
Oh yeah, Elon Musk is the man.
It's good. Takes a while to get to the chorus.
I love that dude. I mean, nothing's
Such
better
a good
than
song.
nothing's better than Hammett. I mean, how do you say Hammett? He doesn't sing. Kurt, you know.
But he needs his acknowledgement.
Kurt Hammett is. I mean, I'm glad. I'm not. Half of me is glad that the original guy left. But I mean, the original guy did some amazing stuff on one of their first albums. But when Kurt Hammett came in, it just gave him that over the edge. I think it gave him that over the edge. Like, they were a great band, and Hammett just gave him that legendary status, I think.
I don't know too much about music. I feel bad for not knowing. I feel like such a poser. Well, I didn't know that they had a switch in members.
Oh,
I
man.
just enjoy the music.
I mean, people would just call other people posers who are just self-absorbed with their own selves, I think. And God forbid somebody doesn't know something. It's like, now I'm a bit smarter. Thanks, dick.
True.
Or you can surround, or you're around somebody who, understands that not everybody knows fucking everything. And if someone says something, you go, hey, wait a minute, I don't understand it. Can you explain that to me? Oh, fucking poser. No. Oh, yeah, dude. It's like this, that. Oh, thank you. God forbid people are just, like nice to each other anymore. By the way, way off topic radio, everybody. I'm here with Mr. Skott Pye. He is the YouTube creator for the awesome No Sleep channel, Nature's Temper. One of my all-time favorite channels to listen to. Like, I swear, I don't think there's ever been a video I've cut off listening to when my email notification comes down and says Nature's Temper, new whatever. I don't even care what it is. I just kind of click that and like, well, I'll listen to you later. Fucking Scott's got something new. I'm not even joking. That's a true story. I do it all the time. But Skott, thanks for coming on, man.
No worries. Happy to be here. It's been nice conversations with you.
Yeah. I mean, as it normally happens, I really should get into the habit of recording the pre-recordings of this. I think I could make a whole nother podcast out of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we've been at it for a while, but it's been nice to get a warm up.
Exactly, man. I mean, it's always good to get that, a little bit of familiarity going before we try to, get to know each other on air. You know what I mean? Well,
True,
because
yeah.
what we want to do is get all the Nature's Tempers fans out there, and even if you're not even a fan of the whole genre, get you interested to the genre, and then you know more about, Scott Pye, Nature's Temper, and so when you're listening to it, you know even more about him, and that makes it even much better. So, and trust me, there's all of this stuff is great. Some of the best stories I've ever heard. And full disclaimer, and I'm sure you get this a lot because I see it in the comments constantly. Even though Scott does shout out, which he should, the writer of the story he's about to read, everyone thinks you write them.
I don't understand why. Like I say the title of the story usually, and if I don't mention the writer, it's because they're not provided, which is very rare. But I usually say by this person, and
So
like,
some
God
of
love
this,
them.
I'm sorry, cut him. Some of the names of the writers, I just gotta laugh. Like, why? Why?
Yeah, maybe they never thought there'd be a horror writer, but
Like,
yeah, I'm trying to think of one
zero
off
three
the top of my-
five none. Like, good luck, publishing something with that name, man.
I'd probably just go by his actual name. Yeah, like he's a good writer.
Yeah, and by the way, the 035 none is the writer of the infamous, shit. The Marine stories. You know what I'm talking about.
Weird shit I've seen as a Marine.
That's it. Thank you very much. I think it's an 8-part series by now, right? 8 parts.
I believe so. I haven't heard back from him for a while because I think he's still in the field.
Okay, so basically, so this is because you do a lot of fiction. You do a lot of fiction stories, right?
Yeah,
But this story is one of those rare nonfiction keeping up with the writer kind of thing.
yeah, apparently so. He seems as out of everyone, him and the other weird shit I've seen as a Marine, because there's two different guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Three if you count the one off that the original author's friend did.
What's that one called? Do you remember?
The name of the author?
Or name the author, name of the story, just so I
Oh,
probably heard it.
okay. The name of the story is very similar. Sorry, let me. So that's why I'm forgetting its name.
Well,
Its
I mean,
thing.
the amount of stories you've done, it's not a problem.
Oh, well, like I remember the name of the author. The author is Rev Black Rage. That's his name. But it's basically. I think I've put it under a slightly different title. But you should be able to find it. If you just type Marine and look at my channel, you'll be able to find it. But it's by Rev Black Rage. And he's another. They're both Marines. Um, I don't want to sound like I'm not believing in them, but like allegedly they are both Marines, and they're both telling me, well, telling the reader what they've seen. And I've been in conversations with them through Twitter DMs,
Oh, no
talking
kidding.
to them.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, I talked to
That
them,
is
and
awesome.
yeah, and some interesting stuff comes up. So if
So
anything,
can
if
you?
anything seems to be real out of all the stories I've read, I think they have the biggest chances of having actual strange experiences.
No shit. I mean, yeah. I mean, like the drive to Las Vegas was crazy. I remember that part. I was like, wow, that's and that's not out of the realm of possibility because I myself have traversed the desert from Las Vegas to 29 Palms before. I know what road he's talking about. And let me tell you about something about 29 Palms. He ain't shitting, folks. 130. I love this. It's one of the greatest lines I've ever heard someone say. Like I can't tell you how many people I have played the beginning of the story that you've done to them, and when you get to the part of the temperature reached 130, as if the sun said, "See, told you I could." I started I started dying when I heard that because it's incomprehensible. I can't describe to you the heat. Like when you're in Vegas, it's hot enough there, right? And we're talking like 105, 110, right? And and you're there, and there's this smell, and for some reason, we went there in August. I asked my wife why. I would have never picked that, but that being aside, we were there for like a week, and the third day in, I'm like, what the fuck is that smell? Like, it's not a bad smell. It's not an overpowering smell. You know what I mean?
It's just a strange smell.
Yeah, it's there. You notice it. You know what I mean? And I realized, I realized 3 days in, it was the ground burning. So if you get some sand or whatever, and you put it in the oven for a half hour, baste, repeat, whatever you do with turkey. That was a bad joke, but anyway.
No, it's good.
So you just put a pile of dirt in the bake, and bake it for a few hours, and pull it out and smell what the dirt smells like. That's what Vegas smells like all the time.
Oof.
Yeah, that's how hot it is. And for and 29 Palms was oppressively hot. And when he said 130, I was like, I don't doubt it. This guy ain't talking shit. And Bridgeport, like her brother is a Marine, right? He just ended his 4 years, so he's whatever that word is, where you've done your time and you're out. So anyway, I asked him, is Bridgeport a place? He goes, don't ever bring that name up to me again.
Oh shit.
And I went, so it is a mountain? He goes, yes, it's a mountain. And I don't want to talk about it. And I went, fair enough.
Jesus.
So when he said that, and I've been to 29 Palms myself, I was like, this guy might not be talking shit.
There are Stranger Things. What was that? What's that? I can't remember the term. What's it? There are stranger things in heaven and earth than something, something, something. And I can't remember it because it's a little before my time.
There's stranger things in heaven and earth, and I've heard it once. I'm not very.
You know what I'm on about, though, right?
Yeah,
So,
I've heard it before because my great aunts and my grandmother were very religious, so they would say those things constantly. Me myself, I'm not, so I don't hear it, I guess, as often as I might have. But I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've always not played. I've always been a skeptic.
Yeah.
In the paranormal and supernatural, but I want. It's like that post from X-Files. I want to believe. I want to see things. I want to hear about them. And I, even though I'm a man of science, I'm a zoologist. I studied natural sciences, so like that's more or less my bread and butter. I am always open to things like this, and always eager. Like I'm not a religious man. I don't believe in a god, but I like to think I'm agnostic. So if there is one, and they're cool, like
even
great.
if there would, like, this is what I say. Like, I'm in default mode. Like, a lot of, like, you do agree with me that a lot of people have taken the word atheist way too far. They almost talk about atheism being a religion, which it's like, okay, you've totally lost the meaning.
The term atheist means you do not have
a
being like not, and theist, I believe meaning religion, or
a being
or God,
nothing, and theist is just being believer.
So, is it? Oh, okay.
So not believer, So
okay,
and then a theist is someone who does believe. So they, what I mean. And basically, the best way I've heard other atheists put it is, we're in default mode, because what did Carl Sagan? What is his famous quotes? It's extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, right? So, and even if you were to prove to me, and okay, yes, there is a God, there's the proof, right? Even if there was, I still don't think I would want to subscribe to it, being as though it's like it just sounds like a dictator to me.
I was gonna say, like, I don't want to offend anyone, but the Christi Judean God The idea of him being, well, if it is a him, again, already probably offending like a million people, but
No, it's okay.
but
No, like
if
people who listen to this show, they're very open minded. They know the deal.
good,
Trust me.
good.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a person up there, a god that says, "Do all this, worship me, kneel before me, and love me and only me, or else you'll go to hell." It kind of sounds like a threat type deal, and I think if you're if this God exists and there is a heaven and a hell, and you're a good person, but you don't subscribe to his way of thinking, and you don't worship him, and you still go to hell, that is unfair. That is wrong. If you're a good person, you should go to heaven no matter what.
Yeah, and honestly, like the way I look at it, like the morals set into the religion is I subscribe to that, but do you really need a book and
It's
someone to like it's it's something inside. Like
oh,
if you don't have natural empathy inside of you, there's something wrong with you, and I don't need to
yeah.
believe in something that's supernatural to have it.
Well, I think it's great that people can have. Well, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with religion.
No, not at all.
I think it's great when people express it healthily, but when it's negative, like it changes their outlook on different groups of people. Like the biggest one being, off the top of my head, it's like very old-fashioned Christians hating homosexuals and
That
the
would
like.
be let's see, the Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, the even the Amish, Quakers
Yeah.
out here, um, really like any very hardcore Christian denomination. Any Orthodox Christian, anything is very anti-homosexual, they're really cults, is what they are. Just listen to Telltale's channel, and you'll get a good idea what I'm talking about. Because he was a Jehovah's Witness, and he got out of it, and now his mission is to save as many Jehovah's Witnesses that have been ostracized and everything. Because like the way they treat their members, that they screw up one time and they kick them out, even if they're 12, which is fucked up.
What?
Yeah,
That is messed up.
dude, I'm telling you, Telltale, it's Talltell on YouTube, and just listen to a few of his videos. You'll be blown away with some of the things that these people do. Because I didn't know either, because I didn't grow up in it. I grew up in a Catholic, environment, and that's pretty much why I don't believe in any of it.
I grew up in a pseudo Protestant. I say pseudo, it's because we got raised in that way of life, but my mum and my dad, they couldn't care less. It's like, oh, my parents were, so I might as well be. I got christened and everything, but my mum, especially, she believes in aliens and stuff, and she doesn't really believe in a god either. She loves aliens. Like that's her main thing. Aliens, 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 and that's great. I really love that about my mum. My dad, he's flip floppy, but he's just like So
I mean, it'd be an awful waste of space if there wasn't.
oh yeah, I mean there's a YouTube channel called Kurg. I never pronounce its name right. Kurgastak or something like that. And it has some really good videos and explanations as to why we have not seen any aliens or come in contact with any, even though we should have by now. It's pretty interesting. A lot of food for thought in those things.
Do you ever watch? Are you subscribed to a Secure Team?
I don't think so. No, like
You definitely check Secure Team out. Yeah, definitely.
what do they do?
A lot of this alien stuff and everything. He shows a lot of videos, but he also goes over a lot of just weird stuff that happen around the world as well. So he's not like dedicated to just aliens. He's dedicated to everything, like solar system, different satellite images, the ISS feed, what's going on in the world. For instance, I think it was about a year ago. Just I think it was off the the southwestern coast of the UK. There, it was like a mass wash up of starfish and everything. Did you hear about
Starfish?
this? You didn't hear about
No,
this?
no, I didn't hear about the starfish washing up.
Yeah, it was about a year
I should
ago.
have.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't. Yeah, it was a mass wash up of starfish and basically all the critters that live on the bottom, and they all
Oh
washed
wait,
up
no,
on shore. Yeah.
I think I heard something. Was this around the same time as the BP oil spill, or was that a different thing I'm
No, no,
thinking of?
this was literally last year. The BP
Yeah, yeah.
spill was about a decade ago now, I think. Maybe not as long ago, but I'm pretty sure it was a while, about that long ago.
It was, yeah, it was definitely more than a year ago.
I'm
Well, more.
I'm pretty sure Obama had nothing to do with it. So I think it was a Bush thing. I don't know.
Oh, I think it was during Obama's.
Was it? Mm.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I mean, like he's got this one video, secure team. His name's Tyler. He just broke 2 million views yesterday. So congratulations to him, or I mean subscribers. So
Yeah,
congratulations to Tyler.
I'm on the channel now. Like, impressive.
Yeah.
These thumbnails, so much better than mine. I suck at thumbnails.
Um. The thumbnails never really. I don't think the thumbnails ever really draw me in, to be honest with you. And a lot of the time, I stop paying attention to thumbnails because half the time the thumbnails have nothing to do with what I'm about to see. You know, there's a few channels that do that. But I mean, nobody beats Corpse Husband's thumbnails. Let's just face it. Miss that guy.
I, my,
I really hope he gets better.
my I'm just jealous when it comes to thumbnails because I just can't do them well. I don't have Photoshop, and with the price it costs, I ain't getting it. I use an online free Photoshop, and it's not bad. And I've made some decent ones in the past, but there's nothing that's quite. How do I put it? There's no regular theme to my thumbnails. It's usually just text and
A lot of overlays.
yeah, sometimes it just make the image darker and put a thing on it. That is, I'll admit that's probably just me being lazy and wanting to get a thumbnail made quickly. Because the day I make the day I post these stories is usually the day I record and edit everything.
Oh yeah,
I make sure to do it on the same day.
and
'Cause
and then
it's just-
and that's a good question that just popped in my head that I want to compare a little bit. How many stories do you go through to where you actually think it's good enough to record and post?
it depends. Sometimes it takes me hours and hours to find an actual story I want to read
Okay.
for the channel. And was it yesterday? It was yesterday. It took me ages. And when I finally got the chance to record, I live next door to a pub. They started doing the karaoke night. And I was like,
So you have a window of where it's nice and quiet, right?
yeah. And tonight it is also karaoke night, but luckily it's not being picked up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they're being quite quiet, which is very nice.
Well, see, that's totally different from what Ronnie told me. You want to hear what Ronnie said?
What do you say?
He goes, normally I don't go through anything. I just find a story where the title grabs me and I hit record and I read it.
Well,
And I'm like,
well,
you do what now?
well, that's not too different to me. I mean, like,
Okay.
usually the title grabs me. I'll skim through it, and if it seems like it's grabbed my attention, it's interesting, I'll usually do that. But some I do read all the way through, but most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's more. It's like 90% blind, the story.
Okay.
So like it's not too different from the way I do it. But it is hard finding something that it's less the quality that it's hard to find because there are a lot of really, really talented authors out there, but it's stuff that I'm 100% confident I am allowed to do.
Okay.
So I'm in talks with, well, I have permission from a lot of writers to do their content, which is good. A lot of talented ones like First Breath One is someone I've talked to recently, and a bunch more on Reddit that I've been able to talk to and get their permission story-wise to do. But there are websites like the Creepypasta Wiki that have real good gems hidden away, and they're often really hard to find because they don't really have a rating system. You kind of have to go to the website and flick through them, read them, be like, okay, this is nice. And that's what I've been doing recently, more often than not. It's incredible how many talented people there are out on the internet, and they're just some of this stuff just goes unread for years, and it's kind of sad. But I'm just glad I've had the chance recently to find more on the Creepypasta Wiki and other websites.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite website? Writer?
A favorite writer?
Yeah. I'm sorry, website. Yep. Sorry. Like, do you have a
favorite website?
Do you have a favorite website, and then in turn, do you have a favorite writer? Give or take.
Favorite website. It's 50-50, I'd say. Like I'd say Creepypasta Wiki is the best one in my opinion because I'm so used to it and I've been reading on it for years.
Uh-oh. What just happened? Okay, there we go.
Hello?
Yep. No, we're back. Yeah, just a little bit of a. Uh-oh. Yep.
Did you hear what I said?
You went dark for about 5 seconds there after the Creepypasta Wiki. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've had Sorry. The Creepypasta Wiki is one of the things that mainly got me into creepypasta because I like the way it's set out. I just don't like the fact there's no way of knowing the quality of something before you go into it and go read it.
Right.
So that's the only downside, but I really enjoy it. That and No Sleep are my two favorite sources of stories. Favorite writer though, that's a very hard one. I don't think I could choose. There's a few that I would definitely say have some of my most favorite stories.
Yeah, like two jump out at me where I'm kind of wondering if you're going to say the two. So that's all.
Okay. Well, one of them is definitely 035 None.
Okay.
He's fantastic. But I don't know if I can call him a writer if I genuinely have belief that these things are actually happening. So when it comes to potential non-fiction, yeah, he's definitely up there. But when it comes to actual 100% fiction, it's fiction. I feel bad I keep forgetting their names. I'm quite a big fan of Man and Lyset. He's a really good author.
that was one of the
names. Tobias Wade is also up there.
I forgot about him. Okay, so there's three.
How can
there should have been three. There should have been three. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Man and Lyset, Tobias Wade.
Dopamine, maybe?
Oh, Dopamine, yes.
Oh. You forgot Dopamine. You forgot Dopamine.
I didn't forget Dopamine. It's just like you remind me that there's a ton of them. But Dopamine, yeah. I don't want to be like... I'm trying to remember one of the stories because I've done so many stories by all of them. And they're all really talented. It's just...
Mr. Outlaw, maybe.
Sorry?
Mr. Outlaw.
Mr. Outlaw, yes. Oh, see, Mr. Outlaw. It's just there's too many. There's too many to remember because they're all equally as amazing in my mind.
Are.
Like,
but they all have a certain style to them that I really like.
Exactly.
And it's amazing how they can go from one genre to another. So, they can cover so much ground with so many different, ideas and everything, and the way that they structure their stories and all. I'm pretty blown away by that.
Exactly. I think for variety, I've noticed. I feel like how do I put this? Because I don't want to like make sure I want to make sure they all know that they're what's the word? Not acknowledged, but I'm so bad with words considering it's my job to read them. I'm bad with words.
You mean like you really want to give them recognition? That's why you do
Yeah,
the.
yeah, give them their correct recognition and make sure they know they're valued and that they are all amazing. But I think it's just the type of stories that Tobias Wade writes tends to be my stuff I am interested in more. Um, but I think Dopamine and Man and Lyset have like a bigger variety in what they write. It's more
Okay.
varied,
Right on.
but in general, all ecstatic and amazing people. I'm just if the people who, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, let me work out my words again. If there are people here right now watching this who don't know who these people are, please look them up. Dopamine, spelt like it sounds, all one word. Oh, actually, it's not spelled. There's an E at the end of bean in Dopamine.
Yeah. So it's like Dopa Biani.
Dopamine, yeah. Look her up. She's an awesome author. Same goes for the others I've mentioned. Mr. Outlaw. God, my memory's so shit right now. Mr. Outlaw, Tobias Wade, Man and Lyset.
Yeah, I mean, and if I didn't hear you say Man and Lyset, I would have never gotten that pronunciation. I was reading that word, the name. I gotta be honest.
How would you have pronounced it?
I have no idea. I stuttered my way through it. I know that much.
There is a lot of things I've had to pronounce by looking up the pronunciation. But when it comes to authors' names, I just go for it.
I mean,
I try my best.
If it's wrong, it's wrong. At least I gave you recognition, so kill me, right? So sue me,
Yeah.
Right on. You know what? I pulled up the one video on Secure Team that I wanted to show you. I just want to get your reaction out of this one, all right?
Yeah, sure. I have the YouTube channel open right now.
Right on. I actually got the actual piece of video because like his videos are a bit hard to search through if you're actually trying to find something that he did. So, but I did find it here, and here, yeah. I just want to see if I just want to get you. And I know other people. If you're listening, just go to secureteam.com. So, what do you think about this here?
Giant alien object.
Yeah, this come from a stereo satellite. It's called a stereo forward satellite that's always staring at the sun.
Okay.
It's always videotaping the sun. And yeah, that's not natural looking at all to me. And then up there it goes and leaves a wake. That's normal. And this is a satellite, by the way. It's not a NASA satellite. Everybody, you crazy, lunatic conspiracy theories who hate NASA. That's a ESA satellite. So if the Europeans are in on it too, I guess. Let's see here. I'll just replay this over for you. So there it is. It's sucking plasma from the sun that's spinning, which is weird, and it stays in place. Yeah, I guess it needed a refueling. I don't know. But
the only thing I could think of is I don't know much about physics, unfortunately, but it almost looks like there's a giant tornado on the sun, and it's creating this weird distortion effect.
Yeah, but like when a tornado stops, you would just see everything kind of swirl down to the surface, not swirl up away from it. You know what I mean? That's
exactly.
So then it's like I have racked my brain just coming up with different theories on what the heck that could possibly be naturally, and I've come up empty myself. And like I'm the same way. Like I'm a huge skeptic. Like I'm the same way. Like like I question everything that's told to me. I don't take everything at face value. But so I try to research everything myself and try to get more educated and everything. because most of the time when somebody tells you something, it's coming from one source. So I'd like to hear from two different opposing sources. That's
That's
unbiased
the
and not
best.
biased.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I think I said something 2 shows ago where I was like, I'm tired of going to other countries' news to get my own country's news because I can't trust anything any of these news sources say here because they're all so trigger word, laced heavy and trying to push you in a certain, whatever. It drives me absolutely crazy. So if I have to go to the BBC to find out what happened in San Francisco, so be it. I shouldn't have to do that, but and I'm not saying the BBC is the greatest place to go.
It's not, but I can see what you mean. Like I've seen some of the headlines over in America, and it's yikes. Is all I can say.
Yeah, it's just like and then the things that they go like. I'm a huge Linkin Park fan, right? And there's been a little bit of a hubbub about Mike Shinoda right now since he recorded his post-traumatic album, which is amazing, by the way. I encourage anybody to go out and check it out. It's one of those rare albums that from beginning to end tells an entire story, the great music. I mean, if anybody doesn't know, all of Linkin Park's music and sound all came out of Mike Shinoda's head. He produced it all, every bit of it. I mean, Chester had a great, voice, but that was about all Chester ever did was sing. He had no input to the music. So this post-traumatic album, it's all Mike Shinoda himself. He brings in a couple people like Chino from Deftones. Did one of my favorite songs from it is Chino from Deftones is on it, and back when he released it, MGK was part of it, but now, after Eminem just killed that poor boy, I don't care to listen to his part anymore. My point being is it's still one of my favorite songs, but the entire album is really good, and it's mostly Mike Shinoda. And he sings more than he raps, and he was always considered the rapper, right? And apparently he can sing. It's just how is he going to do that with Chester Bennington next to him? How can you even be it wouldn't have worked, obviously, But ever since he released the album, Chester Bennington's sister came out with some BS about Mike and them never being real friends or something, which when you're in a band and it's almost like this is your livelihood, friends come second after that. I mean, just take Pink Floyd, for example. Perfect example of that. So my point being is now anything that Mike Shinoda does or says, the music media, like Rolling Stone, a lot of Rolling Stone actually, they're just killing him for it, and there's no reason to it. And then when you read the article, when you actually read the article, it's like that was the most clickbaity title I've ever read, because this doesn't show anything. There's nothing wrong with this. What are you talking about? And you're just trying, aiming, you're grabbing at anything you possibly can.
It's hate mongering.
Yeah, that's what it is. And
it's wrong.
It's like, hasn't the man been through enough, for crying out loud? Like, do you think he had anything to do with Chester? No, I think somebody did personally. I'm not going to go down that road. I don't know how you hang yourself from a doorknob. But hey, stranger things have happened.
That's true.
But two people in 3 months who were really good friends on the same label die the same way from a doorknob? I see a pattern. I'm just saying. The skeptic in me doesn't want to believe it. But at any rate. But yeah, sorry, I brought that up like 5 minutes ago. I just wanted to show you that real quick.
It's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's kind of the stuff that he'll show, you know what I mean? Like, and he shows stuff on Earth or whatever, and he'll go over some things. He'll give you the history in the background. And the one thing I like the most about him, and I tend to gravitate more towards this, is I don't want to hear your opinion. I don't care what your opinion is. Let me make my own. Just give me the facts of everything. I mean, it's okay if you give me 5 or 6 different alternative reasons of what it could be, but you're not pushing your own agenda of what you think it is. So here I'm going to cherry pick and straw man the shit out of it to make it seem like it is exactly what I think I want it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because
I mean,
there tends to be a bias most times when people are explaining stuff. I just wish I knew more about things like that,
hey,
so I could like be useful in a conversation with it.
oh no, there really is no way to describe that because he hasn't found anybody. I haven't heard anybody, and I had a doctor who is a writer for Space.com on a few episodes ago. It was a great interview, and he wrote a book called Out There, which is a great book. I've read about half of it so far. And then my mom was up from Florida. She wanted to read it, so I gave it to her, and she still hasn't mailed it back. I'm a little bit upset about that, but she needs to mail my book back anyway. I showed him that, and I said, "Can you
You can
explain?"
borrow mine,
Yeah, it's like I showed him that. Oh, there you go. Right,
the dinosaur book.
there you go. But yeah, I mean, like, and I showed him that. I was like, "Can you explain that to me? Since this is pretty much your exact, that you have a doctorate in this kind of stuff." And he looks at it and he goes, "That's the goddamnedest, most insane thing I've ever seen. Where'd you get this?" I'm like, it's a public knowledge. You can go on the Stereo Sat, website and just type in the time and the day, and it's right there. I've done it." And he's just like, I honestly have never seen. That doesn't make any sense what I just saw. and he was baffled because that's the kind of stuff that he's into. That's exactly what he surrounded his whole life with it. So that's why I like showing that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Like, I think as someone in the scientific community, when you see something you can't explain, in your specific field, in your speciality, I think it's great. It shows like, oh, not everything's been discovered. It's kind of like when I, as a zoologist, see an animal I can't explain, or something that could be considered a cryptid, that isn't just a guy in a suit being like, like, I love that. There's a few that I'm like, what the friggin' hell is that? And sometimes it's been it's easy to debunk. Like, there's that one thing, weird, crazy alien mass in a sewer, and like, that's a bunch of worms in a ball.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it was pulsating a little bit. Yeah.
Sometimes animals, when they're in a group, they look like one big mass.
Yeah.
But it's just how they do.
Yeah, especially when they're all solid and they're next together, you can't really decipher one from the other. And when I looked at it, I'm like, that's a bunch of worms. It just looks like a bunch of worms. That's all.
Yeah, but I think it did come out that was what it was. But there's another one where it's a bunch. It's see if I can impersonate it. It's like a guy doing that underneath the It looks like a guy almost, but it's apparently its limbs are too long, and I gotta say, it does look almost like a giant sloth upside down, just shuffling under a bridge, and I don't know what it's clinging onto. It's really strange. But that's the first thing I can come up
know
with.
what that reminds me of? It reminds me of that.
I stood on the headset.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen that, Scott literally pulled himself up. I don't know. I guess he has something above him that can support his weight. But he went hands and feet on something above him and then crawled.
It's my bed. I have a high-rise bed. Nice. It's like a bunk bed, but I have a desk instead of a lower bed.
Have you ever fallen off the side of it?
No. It's got wooden beams to keep you there.
Oh, good.
I almost did one night getting up to go to the toilet because the ladder moves. I put the ladder on the wrong side of the bed, so it was like, okay, no, that's me nuts on the beam.
But you know what that reminded me of? Like, you did a really good story about the doctor that went kerplunking into a cave, and it was those weird.
Sorry, what was that? Kerplunking.
Spelunking.
Kerplunking's a game.
Did I say kerplunking?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all going kerplunking today. What? We are? I didn't pack to go to Kerplunk.
Oh God,
What what
that's a
what
good
the,
one.
what the hell is kerplunking anyway? That
I
is a
think
word, by the way.
yeah, Kaplunk sounds like
I forget what that is.
sounds like a kid's game, like maybe something similar to Tiddlywinks.
Oh shit! You know my battery's about to die on my fucking MacBook again. Hold on 1 second.
No worries.
Uh,
Oh, I know what
uh,
this
hey
is.
Scott, plug your channel real quick and where they can find it while I plug this stupid MacBook in.
Hey guys, I'm Nature's Temper, and you can find me on YouTube at Nature's Temper. That's Nature's with an S and temper, like the angry thing. I read spooky stories usually, and usually my voice doesn't sound like this, but I have an infection in my lungs and throat.
So I got Scott that has an infection. And by the way, if you have a MacBook, don't leave it plugged in all day, every day, because this is what will happen when you don't have it plugged in. It will die very quickly. Go figure. Who knew?
I hear Apple devices don't have very good batteries.
No, they don't. iPhone X, that should be great, but the battery sucks. Just saying.
Android for life. Just kidding. I don't care. I just have an Android. And the battery seemed to last longer, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah. I mean, I had a HTC. Remember those HTCs with the little kickstand? I don't know if you don't remember that. It was It was about 5-6 years ago, but it was one of like the first smartphones that came out that had a really great phone, which today would be like the equivalent of a really shitty smartphone. But anyway, I mean a really shitty flip phone camera. But anyway, back in the day, it was the jam. But I just couldn't. I wasn't a big fan of the whole Android setup, and there was just too many actions you had to do to get to one thing. And then I tried the iPhone. Or no, sorry, I got the iPod Touch, where it's like an iPhone, it just doesn't have the phone setting to it. And I found it to be so much easier to use. And I'm like, if this is like how an iPhone is, then I need an iPhone. And then I got an iPhone back then, and I've had them ever since. But like the cross branding's costing me too much money in these subscriptions. I gotta tell you, because I use Google for everything. Safari sucks. Their operating system.
Oh.
But I mean, as far as creating, recording, all that good stuff, like the MacBook, you can't beat it. I mean, the iPhone is just great for everything you want to do. It really is. I like it a lot. But anyway. All I know is that
something about kaplunking or spelunking.
What's that?
And Kaplunk's that game where you have like a wood cylinder. You put a bunch of sticks through it, and you put marbles in. That's what it is.
Oh shit! Yeah, and then if you pull the wrong thing and all the marbles come down, you just kerplunked.
Yep, that's Kaplunk. I saw one with like monkeys as well, little monkeys with like curved arms, and they fall through like.
Oh yeah, I remember that one too. Yeah, I used to have one when I was a kid. I cannot for the life of me remember what that's called.
I remember board games.
Favorite board game when you were a kid? Go.
Monopoly.
Really?
Yeah, it was because like me, my brother and his girlfriend at the time were playing Monopoly in the living room, and I had nothing to do. Me and my sister had nothing to do. We just watched. I didn't even get to play. I just watched them play, and for some reason, it seemed so fun, and it stuck with me. And every time I've played Monopoly since, it's been pretty fun. Would you count tabletop card games as board games? Because they don't really use a board.
Sure. I mean, it's you sit around the table with other human beings. I know this is weird, but you sit around the table with other
When
human
does
beings.
that happen?
With Missy's family, it happens every Christmas. After dinner, they play a board game together.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I thought it was cute.
Well, if actually, I just remembered D&D is a board game, isn't it?
It sure is.
Oh yeah, D&D. There you go. D&D is my favorite. A close second follow-up, if you count it, is Werewolves of Miller's Hollow. That's a fun game. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a werewolf fanatic. It's generally fun. It's kind of like that Mafia game where you have to hide the fact that you're the werewolf, and people try and kill you. And then third place would be Monopoly.
Right on. Have you ever actually finished a game of Monopoly? Because it seems like it takes so damn long, and everybody gets all mad at each other by the end.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't. I think I might have, but if I have, it's been years, definitely years since I've played one.
All I know is every time I drive through AC and I see the name of the streets, I go, oh yeah, I remember buying hotels on that. I was driving down Baltic. London. I was driving down Baltic Ave the other day. It was cool. What there is there board games with London streets on it?
Yeah, Monopoly, the original one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the original Monopoly, I think, was English. I could be wrong, but I know the ones in England are named after British streets in London.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, all of ours is named after Atlantic City. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The one over here, the original one over here, I guess, quote unquote, is all Atlantic City streets, like Baltic Ave, Mediterranean, Atlantic Ave, Boardwalk, because there's a boardwalk there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Trump had something to do with
it. You think?
I'm pretty sure, because since he did own half the damn city.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think maybe it is an American game. Oh no!
I mean, they have a ton of variations of it. They even have a Game of Thrones variation where instead of the streets, it's like Westeros, Essos, whatever.
And there's also
different cities.
Simpsons one. There's one for everyone, so that's fair enough. Yeah, so the ones in Britain will definitely be popularized to be London and other streets like that.
Right on. But I mean, do you remember the story I'm talking about, where it was like a doctor and he was recording what was going on?
Oh, was it with the lizards that threw rocks with their tails?
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
I love that one. That's great. That's a great story.
It really is. I love that one too.
It's like called again.
It's called Oh, I'm actually good at this. Shit.
Did it have cave in the title?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank as well, but there were these demons, these little creature demon things that he became in the end. Spoilers, that he became in the end. He became one of them.
And it was all because they ate the one they killed or something, and then it wasn't his wife, but his women or
his women.
It wasn't his wife, but it was a woman.
I think it was his assistant. Like there was three of them. There was two guys and.
Well, there was four originally. Then the one got sick. Yeah, there's four in the plane going over. Then the one got sick, and then go over. See, I can remember this shit.
I think they're all researchers of some sort, and I don't think she was his assistant. I think she was just another doctor there.
Yeah, and
it's very sexist of me to think it was an assistant. It was very bad, naughty.
It was his intern. She wasn't paying him, or he wasn't paying him, or paying her.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't talk now. But it's like now I want to find the name of the damn story. But anyway, yeah, I like that one a lot as well. I thought that one was good.
It really tickled my fancy because it's like. He was an actual biologist and he was looking at it from the same perspective I would. It's like I actually looked up to see if these lizards existed. It's like, what? There are lizards that use tools? I mean,
he was like, it was almost like they used their tails, and their tails were like shaped weird, and they would grab rocks.
Yeah, they're prehensile and they can pick things up. There is not a single species of lizard that can do that. There's the closest things are chameleons, which they can grasp onto things with their tail, but that's about it. Now, the way they described it made me think of a varanid lizard, which is Komodo dragons, bosque monitor lizards, or goannas, as you call them in Australia. But their tails are so rigid, and they're just for whipping. They'll smack you and blind you, or a lion if they're unlucky. But they cannot pick things up with them. They're too fragile. They're just not built like that.
Well, they just found a new species of a bird on the southern border of South America's rainforest. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. The Amazon? Is that the Amazon? I believe.
Yeah, well, the Amazon is in South America.
Right on. So on the border of the Amazon, they just found this bird that all day long, this bird will sit with his head up in the air, and he'll sit there for all day. When the sun's out, he will not move. His eyes are open, but he will not move, and he looks like a piece of bark. His feathers like look like bark and everything. He looks like a piece of the tree. If you didn't know that what you were looking for, you'd never see him. And at nighttime is when they, because they're nocturnal. So, and I'm thinking to
Sounds like
myself,
a relative of the Tawny Frogmouth. I think.
I don't know. I just read the story literally like last week about it, and it was pretty interesting to me. Like it was like a brand new find, and and it is insane looking. Like when it yells at who, one perched up on a fence, so obviously it stood out pretty. Like how did that branch of the tree grow out of the top of the fence? Oh shit, it's a bird. You know what I mean? Like, and when somebody gets too close to it and it realizes, oh shit, I'm spotted, it would make this screech and open up its mouth, and it looks insane. It is crazy looking.
It's screaming frogmouth to me, which is Australian, I think.
I'm almost.
Yeah. No, but it's probably from the same genus or family, which is Podragus, according to Wikipedia right now.
Right on. Yeah, I'm looking up. I forget what channel it was on. I'm trying to remember the channel. I can just remember the channel. Wait, if I go to history, because this is something you would definitely be into. I mean, you would go, "What? Are you kidding?" Because they literally just found this thing that existed. They didn't know this thing existed or something. I mean, at least anyway, the scientific community didn't know it existed. The locals did. The locals knew it existed, and its feathers come at such a high price that down there, the witchy doctors of whatever tribe down there, they use them and they burn them in rituals or something. But other than that, like the actual scientific community had no idea they existed.
That's incredible. I always love learning about new species being discovered, especially when they stand out. Because you could go into your backyard right now and you could probably discover a new species, like a new species of roly-poly or something. Because
my backyard, maybe a new species of squirrel. I don't know. Like a lot of squirrels.
But new species that can be considered genetically distinct from another, they're fairly easy to find in your backyard and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say like a mammal, like a squirrel, but more like invertebrates and woodlice, stuff like that. Apparently, last time I checked, it was apparently fairly common, like 1 in 100 type thing.
No kidding. That's kind of crazy to even think about. But then again, is that like kind of like a product of evolution where like the species kind of like conforms to its immediate surroundings, maybe the environment? You think?
I'm not following.
Well, okay, so you're saying like you can find a new species, but maybe it's like a derivative of another species, but it's just slightly different.
Yeah, so that's what we call a subspecies. Now, there's a lot of people that don't really subscribe to the notion of subspecies, which is I can see where they're coming from. Because here's an example right here in my lap. This cat. This is Felis sylvestris catus, which is a subspecies of Felis sylvestris, which is the wild cat. Okay. Now, there's a ton of different species of Felis sylvestris, but our domestic cat is Felis sylvestris catus. But often that's shortened to Felis catus. Now, the only thing that makes a species distinct from another, well, not the only thing, but the main thing is being able to produce offspring that is viable. So their offspring can have babies. So an example of two distinct species that can't produce viable offspring is a lion and tiger that produces a tigon or a liger. And now, whilst they're awesome, massive, cool beast cats, they can't have offspring. most of the time. Because sometimes even a mule, which is half horse, half donkey,
Sure.
one in like a million will be able to have a baby, which is really strange. It kind of shows you the thin line between what an actual species is, because they're genetically similar enough to have offspring, but they're not close enough to be considered the same species. Now, some things throw this out the window. Like, I believe there's some species of sheep that can actually breed with a goat. And they're from different genuses.
They're called man.
Oh, goddamn.
Sorry,
But,
I had to throw it out there. You said
that's
sheep.
fine. Yeah, there's most species that are able to interbreed throughout with a different species have to at least be a part of the same genus. But even then, there's some animals that just throw that away, I believe, last time I checked. Could be completely wrong now, because they update taxonomy all the time. But yeah, there's a shit ton of different subspecies. In fact, humans are a subspecies. They're Homo sapiens sapiens, or Homo sapiens sapiens, because there's been a bunch of subspecies of humans over the years.
Yeah. Well, what was the other two? It was the Neanderthals, and then there was another one. I can't ever. It's like Homo erectus. Is that it?
Homo erectus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there is Homo erectus and there's Homo neanderthalis, but I don't think they're Homo sapiens neanderthalis. I think they're Homo neanderthalis, and the Neanderthal is something else.
Yeah, because like it's something like a 0.02% of our DNA chain has some Neanderthal DNA in us, or something like that.
Yeah, it's every. I don't want to sound racist, but it is apparently every non-African descended person on Earth has 0.3% Neanderthal, I believe. I mean, I don't know how I would think that was racist, or anyone would think that's racist. It's just the genetics that have come out. Yeah, like everyone who is not of African descent or completely of African descent is has Neanderthal in them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I almost thought I found the bird, to be honest with you. I was sitting here going through Google, like, is that it? Nope. Is that it? Nope. Is that it? Nope.
Look up frogmouth for me, and if it looks similar to that, we've got a at least a genus or a family to work with.
Great, awesome. Frog.
Yeah.
Frogmouth. Oh yeah, that's right. This bird is a derivative of an owl species.
Well, the frogmouth looks like an owl, but it's not an owl. It's like it's an example of convergent evolution.
Oh my God! You see the picture of this guy? Look at that.
Yep. That's why they call them frogmouths, because they have a massive mouth.
He's going, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, with frogmouths, they look like owls, but they're not. They just fulfill the same ecological niche as an owl. So their bodies have evolved, and their ways of living have evolved similarly to the best, to fit the best.
You know what? This is, you got it. This is it. This is the species.
Really?
Yeah, because this common photo to perfect camouflage. Nice. NYCTIBIUS. Nyctibius? Not Nyctibius?
I'm not sure.
Beats the shit out of me. But yeah, like this thing will just sit on a branch and it looks like a goddamn piece of wood.
Yeah, because I didn't.
In Brazil, here we go. Yeah, Brazil, South America. This is it. Yeah, it's called Uratupo poto. Urutau poto. Potoo bird.
Poto.
Yeah, poto bird. It's also known as poto, and this is the new bird that they just found and that they've been studying because, and when it sits on a branch, which it normally does, still as can be, you can't tell it apart from the tree to the bird.
How do you write poto again? Sorry.
Potoo.
Oh, poto. Potu.
Potu?
Yeah,
Potu.
Potu. Yeah, Potu, I think.
Yeah, it's the full name is Urutau. Urutau. You're I got him illiterate.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean you're
Ah, I see. Yeah,
you see
it's not. It's all the way up into a different order. So it's that far distinct from the frogmouths, but it still has a very similar body plan. They're part of the same order, but
but
not.
yeah, like you see like the way that they look and that's how they scream if you get near it or whatever and it's like, "Whoa, okay, dude, I'm sorry. I'm backing away. Please shut your mouth. You're scaring the hell out of me."
That's the job. Yeah. If
Yeah.
usually when an animal does that in nature, it's to try and intimidate a predator, which you'll definitely see us as.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool, right? I mean, and they literally just like found this thing. Like, I mean, well, again, like the scientific community just came across this thing. Obviously, the locals have known about it forever, but
Hey, it goes to show how well the camouflage has been working.
tell me about it. Yeah,
Uh,
it's like what I just step on. Yeah, it's just a branch. Keep going. Yeah, but it
but it's
screams.
screaming at me.
So, so what got you into doing hashtag no sleep stories? See, I'm really trying to push it.
Yes. Um, well, basically, I used to do Let's Plays, which really didn't take off. I wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to be a Let's Player. So, oh, that's fun. Yeah, I can do that. So that started the channel out.
I know.
But
Okay.
after a while of listening to mainly Cryotic, do you know Cryotic? He does Let's Plays, and he used to, but I don't think he does them anymore. He used to read creepypasta on occasion, and he's a very, very soft-spoken voice, but he also is really, really unique voice. I can't even do it justice. So him, along with the one I listen to the most, Mr. Creepypasta, they got me into it. Like I was like, I love these stories. So every so often, I tried one myself. And then some people said, "You're actually really good at this. You've got a voice for it, apparently." And I thought, okay. I did more and more, and I noticed they were getting a lot of views, and they were really really popular. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick to doing this alongside the Let's Plays I do. And then eventually, I realized that my talent didn't lie with well, I don't want to sound pompous, but YouTube is a game of doing something that you're good at and what
Yeah.
people like you for. So I stuck to doing the narrations alone, and that when I cut out the Let's Plays, my channel really just grew from there. It exploded from there because people only really want one thing when they subscribe.
Yeah, I mean, like I think you did a poll. Was it about 2 weeks ago when you were, you would film like your excursions out like to the beach or whatever that.
Oh, the
But
nature things, yeah.
and you were like, should I include them in the channel? Should I make another channel? And I was just like, you already have another channel. That's Scott Pie. So
No,
people.
yeah, I didn't make that one. No, I made that one, but I was saying like, should I upload it to that channel?
Oh, right on. I mean, I think I had said throw them on that channel so people who are like really into your channel and want to see a little bit more from you, they can go there. And because if you put on this channel, people might think,
Oh,
you're switching over to do something different, and they'll just leave.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, instead
Yeah,
of
that
like
that's
looking
the
into it.
problem. That's the problem. Because I have this audience that I could expose to something that they might like, but there's also the chance of them being like, "Oh, fuck this! I don't want to deal with this. This isn't what I came here for." Which is a shame because I like the idea of. Because I'm not going to lie, I said it before. Animals are my number one thing in life. Animals and nature, and horror and creepy stuff. It follows suit. It's definitely one of my main passions in life, but it comes nowhere near close to my love of nature and animals.
Sure.
In fact, what I would love to be, the job I would want most of my life is being David Attenborough?
Doesn't sound familiar. Is that his channel name or?
No, he's a very famous he's a very famous documentary filmmaker. He's a
Well, I mean, just to give you a little bit of background, my main passion is like racing IndyCar.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough.
That's where my first podcast started with. But then, the reason Way Off Topic Radio even exists is it started off me testing out different equipment, different mics, different software, different recorders, and everything else. Which one sounds the best for ICP? So, but I can't do that with the main channel. And how else are you going to know how things sound unless you upload it and listen to it, right? So that's why I made Way Off Topic. And then when I finally came down to, okay, this one I'm going to use, and I'm good, I'm happy with it. Everybody's like, why aren't you doing Way Off Topics anymore? And I'm like, you like that? It was just me talking, like just about anything. They're like, yeah, we enjoyed it, you know what I mean? Like, so do you want to make another channel? And I put a poll up, and it was like 0 to whatever it was. So I made another channel for it. And also, it's like, and I'm sure you're doing that just so to keep what you really like doing a little bit more fresher, I guess. Because no matter what you do, no matter how much fun it is, you're going to get tired of it just a little bit, inevitably, right? It starts to become commonplace almost. So if you change things up a little bit, it makes, doing what you really like doing, it makes it a little more fresher to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's why this exists, and then that branched out to me doing Welcome to Banshee. Banshee was a TV show on Cinemax that me and my buddy Don really liked, and then Don runs this website that has a lot of different podcasts on it that are from different genres, It's reddragontradio.com. Everybody should know how to go there by now. So my point being is, so he put that on there, and he put my other 2 shows up on there. So then I really wanted to do a Twilight Zone podcast, and so that's when we're Phoenix and then we've been doing that, and then the other one is the other podcast is just insane. It's too much to get into right now, but that turned me doing something else a little bit just to keep the racing thing fresh, right? Branched out to 5 more freaking podcasts. It's weird how that happened, but I'm the kind of thing. It's like you just kind of let it go. You don't force anything, but you don't say no to anything either. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And as long as you do that, good things always seem to kind of happen. And the good thing is when they do, it always seems organic. It always seems natural. So, and I think people like that the most. And that's why I think most people ask you, is this real? Is it whatever? Is because how you narrate, you do have a talent for it, by the way. So don't think you don't.
Thank you.
I no problem. I wouldn't listen to you if you didn't. Honestly, I'm very picky. But yeah, I mean, I think you were the second channel I ever listened to after, because Corpse Husband got me into it with his fire and rescue thing. I'm sure just like most of the audience nowadays, really, it seems like that was like the breakthrough into the whole genre. I don't know. It was for me. But yeah, you're the second channel I ever listened to after that, and I was like, wow, I mean, like 2 great narrators of. And then that's how I found some good ones, some bad ones, but everybody else came after Corpse Husband and you. And Corpse, he hasn't done anything really in a year, so you're pretty much the only one that's still doing it, and I'm happy for that. So that's what I said. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh.
But yeah, I just went on a 5 different subject tangent in about 3 minutes. I don't even know where I started from. So
It's cool, man. It's cool.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, I love throwing the brakes on a show, and then everybody's like, okay, where were we? What are we supposed to do now? I don't know what to do now.
I forgot where we were, but
I know. So let me ask you this question. So are you still going to university, or have you graduated?
I've graduated. Yeah, I'm a fully fledged zoologist now. Well,
Congratulations.
that's what my degree says. Yeah, thank you very much. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say was I want to go into documentary filmmaking, as in like as the host. I want to host documentaries in the same way that Steve Irwin's like he was and still is my hero. I love Steve Irwin so much. I'd love to host shows the same way he does, David Attenborough does, and Steve Backshall, because they're all big inspirations in my life.
Yeah, right on. I recognize Steve Irwin. Unfortunately, I don't recognize the other ones, but that doesn't mean I haven't seen their work.
Yeah, because those other two are generally very Britain orientated. But you probably heard of Planet Earth, the documentary series, and Blue Planet, because they've been on TV. Have you ever seen that little clip of that little iguana running from a ton of snakes that are just coming out of the rocks? Because it's been very memed a lot.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah. I remember the video, and then I remember the meme as well, because I do watch PewDiePie. So.
Yeah,
I mean, it almost feels like a guilty pleasure, doesn't it?
I mean, we shouldn't feel guilty because, like,
oh, I don't. I'm saying it
I
over
think
here.
I think he's a genuinely good guy. He's just
He
been
really is.
again like accosted by
Everyone.
news and bullshit.
Yeah,
People
and I don't get
can't
it.
take jokes.
I mean, the dude's funny. And even when he does something slightly maybe offensive, he's on there apologizing. You know, like, sorry, like, I forgot most of you don't have a sense of humor. My bad.
Yeah, it
And
is
they
a
still
shame
kill him.
because I think you were saying it before. The media likes to peg people in a negative light, but like it's just bullshit. Like Vox Media. Like I don't want to call out an entire website, but it's sort of shit. They're just like say he's in a video game, an online video game that anyone can join, and this guy has like a stereotypical Jewish uh, anti-Semitic icon, and that's supposed to be like his fault, like PewDiePie's fault for joining that game. It's like being on the same street as someone who doesn't like African Americans. It's like it's not your fault for living on that street. You can't control who lives there, and
It's like, oh, you should have moved. You should have moved, mister.
exactly, like that's so unfair. And it's just because I don't know.
Bottom line, look what they're doing to Neil deGrasse Tyson right now. It makes me sick.
What are they? Are they trying to painting him as like?
You haven't heard what happened to him?
No, trust me. Like, if it's not about animals, I'm usually out of the loop.
I mean, personally, like, I mean, there's like two people I respect a lot as far as in like the scientific community. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson, I just love everything that he does, you know, because he's teaching people about what, you know, things that they need to know, because we have too many people out there that don't, you know. And Elon Musk, I'm a huge Elon Musk fan and what he's doing, and it pisses me off because the media ostracizes them both for any little dumb thing. However, you know, they don't ever report on all the great things that they do every damn day. But anyway,
Just love how weird he is. Elon
He's
Musk
so-
is such a weirdo.
Oh yeah, dude, he is the king of the dad joke, isn't he? Love him. I mean, he actually started a company called the Boring Company just to have hats that say boring on it. I love that. But my point being is yeah, it's running rampant over here. I don't know if it is over there, but women, you know, claiming foul 30 years ago type shit, like the whole Kavanaugh thing that happened over here. I don't know if you know about that. But a lot of women to celebrities have been claiming that this person did this to them 15, 20 years ago, and they're basically trying to ruin their careers that way.
Yeah, this is a tough one because on one hand, there's the possibility that something like that could be true for a lot of these women and vulnerable people, which is a damn shame. Oh, that's a cute cat.
Yeah, that's Wilson, my fat cat.
Oh, hello, Wilson.
Oh.
I've got a fat cat too.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because while there are actual cases of these poor women and vulnerable people. Like even Terry Crews has been groped and like made to feel vulnerable by people in power, and that sucks. That is horrible. But then you have people who are lying about these instances,
Yeah.
and they're not only defacing innocent people, they're also making the people who are actually victims that less
Credible.
less credible. Exactly, and it's so sad. It's awful.
It's disgusting.
Like, I think if you lie about this sort of thing, you should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. It's awful.
And
You can
nothing
ruin
happens
someone's
to
life.
them. Nothing
Exactly.
happens to them. Like, okay, for instance, the woman that accused Kavanaugh of what he didn't do, right? Which was a Supreme Court justice that hadn't been sworn in yet. I don't know if you heard of the story or not, but there was a lot of protests going on by a lot of women's groups, and it was getting out of hand. And there would be people going up to him saying, "What are you here for?" And they'd say something off the wall, like, "Yeah, but that's not what's going on here. So why are you really here?" And then they start yelling at them and cursing at them, which is a great way to protest.
Yeah.
You know, have a valid point. I mean, at least the French have a valid point right now. You know what I mean? We don't. So, I mean, maybe the French have a valid point. I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm not there.
I wish I followed more news. I need to be an adult and follow more news.
Hey, trust me, this is just shit that comes across my radar just by chance. I don't go looking for it. I don't follow it either. But my point is, have you heard anything new from Neil deGrasse Tyson at all lately?
No, I haven't.
And you normally did, right? I mean,
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, he is laying low, and you know he's laying low, and he's doing the right thing, and he's just staying out of public light and waiting for this thing to play itself out. Because
Such a shame.
yeah, we're living in an innocent till proven or guilty till proven innocent culture, and it's a shame.
It's awful. Because like what I've actually, how do I put this? Like there's, it can legit ruin someone's life even before this this day and age where we have the internet to just further propel the inferno of just hatred. Because obviously, if someone has actually done these things, yes, they deserve to be hated. That's awful. Like abusing your seat of power, and like especially when it comes to pedophiles and stuff.
Yeah, it's
like
disgusting. Yeah,
but imagine being what's the word? I've forgotten the word again. Accused.
Being
yeah,
accused.
being accused.
Falsely accused. There you go.
Being falsely accused for stuff like that. It's awful. Like,
Yeah.
and because when someone falsely accuses someone, especially say in a neighborhood like mine, like I'm sorry for anyone from Runcorn, but the average IQ around here is pretty damn low. So if someone just starts a rumor about random John down the street, yeah, John's a nonce, he diddles kids. It's like, really? Fucking knew it. Instantly. I don't know why I did Cockney accents, because that's way down south, but it's the easiest British accent to do for me. Even my British accent isn't that British. But yeah,
you know what? Honestly, like I when I first heard your accent, I was pretty sure you were British, but I couldn't place where, because it was like I almost thought you were here and losing it a little bit, because it's very.
I've had that a lot. A lot of people said that.
And then then you did that live stream where you went to I think you went to the aquarium, and that's when I realized, nope, he's in Britain. And wow, okay, so it's not that strong.
Wait, live stream?
It wasn't a live stream. Sorry, it was a.
I was gonna say, like, I wish I had a. Yeah, I wanted to do live streams out in the open, like, just life stuff, but
right.
Don't have the internet.
Well,
but,
not yet. Just give Elon another year, and we'll have internet everywhere.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, back to the point I was saying. It can ruin people's lives, especially around here. People will be lynching people if they think they're a pedophile, and I'm not going to say someone deserves that if they are, but I understand. You know what I mean? Like, if someone has done that to a child,
They don't deserve to live, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly, yeah. I don't want to condone violence to people who may or may not be them. Like, because oh god, it's horrible. It's horrible, disgusting shit. And what's sorry, I need to gather my thoughts again.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, because if so, I like the idea of innocent until proven guilty. That's great, but that's not. You said it yourself. We live in a guilty until proven innocent society these days, and it's horrible.
Yeah, and then when you're proven innocent, everybody forgets about it, and then the person that comes out and just says, "Yeah, I was lying the whole time. I just wanted to ruin his career because of Trump or something." Nothing happens to them.
Yeah,
not a damn thing.
And you know what? Most people don't even forget. They're like, they just, with the PewDiePie thing, people still think he's a Nazi and a horrible person for, like, a slip of the tongue for one thing. Like, that is a big yikes. Like, that sucks. But with the Nazi joke stuff, they still think he's a Nazi even after all the things he's done. And especially for charity, like that's impressive shit what he's done for charity.
Who exactly? You talking about?
PewDiePie.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I mean, I never even heard about that until after I got into watching his channel, because maybe about not even a year. I've been I started watching him when it looked like he was going absolutely batshit crazy with the beard and the yellow hair that he had, or the blonde hair was all it was. That was about maybe early last year. That's when I started, watching his stuff, because I'm like, this guy's funny as shit. And then that's when I heard, like, eventually all the other stuff, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, I mean, okay, granted, he shouldn't have dressed up like one after the fact. Maybe
fun fact about that: he wasn't dressed as a Nazi.
What was he dressed as?
The uniform he was wearing is actually what we call the Dad's Army uniform in the UK. So the Home Guard in the UK would wear that uniform back during World War II, I believe.
Okay.
And it looks drastically similar.
I mean, it's all in context, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
All in context. And how people want to show things is how people will take them, and they know it. I mean, even the Nazi symbol in itself. Do you know, like, how far back that symbol goes? I mean, the Nazis just adopted it. They didn't create it. But now you can't use it. But for 1,000 years, people were using that symbol. I mean,
exactly. The swastika, it's still used in Buddhism. Like, I went to Japan in July, and sorry, there were Nazi symbols around. Sorry, not Nazi. See, even there I go. Like, subconsciously called it a Nazi symbol.
Exactly.
There were swastikas, like, every so often, because there were Buddhist temples there, and I was like, I was confused for the start, but then I realized, oh wait, this symbol's been around since ancient Egypt, hasn't it? It's been around for a long time.
A really long time, yeah. I mean, even on plate of arms, they would use that symbol. For their flags, like the armies of whatever that group was at the time, and they had the flags and everything throughout the infantry marching. They would have that symbol there. It wouldn't be red and white. It might be a different color. It might just be, whatever. But yeah, it's been used for a lot.
Oh, it's been ruined now.
I think the Crusades even used it. Because it is a derivative off the cross, I think. Or at least they took it that way. Well, maybe the Crusades took it that way, but I think the Buddhists are the first ones to ever use it, because they traced it back to that area. Like China. Buddhism is a. What is Buddhism? What that's a Tibetan thing, right? And Tibet's in China now, so. How
do I put this? I
never understood where the Buddhists are, like where their main area is.
The main hub.
Where is the Buddhist airport? I don't know.
I think it is Tibet. I don't know where it came from exactly. It's a very interesting religion, and it's a nice. It's if I had to choose one which was the nicest, I'd say Buddhism is definitely the most peaceful. And
I can't think of one war where it was the Buddhists versus the Turks or something. I never heard of that one.
There's actually a Buddhist temple here in Runcorn where I live, and if you knew what Runcorn was like, you'd be super surprised because it's crappy neighborhoods. It's it's not a great place to live. It's not awful. I'm giving it a terrible name, but there are nice places. But there are also stabbings and shootings.
I mean, I live 10 minutes away from Camden, New Jersey, the murder capital of the country, so I know exactly what you mean.
There you go, there you go. Apparently, this summer, someone was driving up my street and shooting out the window, and I didn't know. Like, I can't say I've heard a gunshot, and I can't remember the last time I heard a gunshot, and these crimes, they go under my radar all the time, but apparently they are happening. But anyway, there's a Buddhist temple here in Runcorn, and I've been in it, and they invite you in, and you're allowed to just come in and meditate with them. And I've done it one time, but it was such an open atmosphere, so nice.
Right, right. I mean, like they welcome anybody in, right?
Exactly, and it's lovely. It's so refreshing.
I've tried to meditate once, but like I always have to constantly have something going on in my ears or whatever, because if I sit alone with my thoughts, I don't it doesn't bring me to a good place, really.
I love meditating. I used to do it every single day, but I fell out of the rhythm last year, and it has been a bit negative on me for stopping that. I need to go back into it because it is great for you. I don't want to sound like a hippie or anything. Nothing wrong with hippies, really, but
I mean, again, peaceful people.
It's so exactly, just so relaxing, and it's very good for organizing your mind. Because after a good meditation session, my brain there's a tingle. It's like almost an electrical surge that goes through it, and it's like I've slept 5 hours. It's great. But to get to that point, it does take a little, I don't want to say effort because you're not really supposed to be putting effort into meditation.
Right.
But
you're saying it takes some effort to learn how to turn your brain off?
Exactly. Like I've lost it again. You have to find the best scenario to be in. I find the best time for me to meditate is whilst it's during the day. There's daylight, and it's hitting my eyes whilst my eyes are closed. And there's some sort of nice calm music to listen to. Okay. And there's no strain on my body whilst I'm sat down. So I can't be sat down with a numb ass on the floor. It has to be like somewhere comfortable. I mean, my the floor in my living room is comfortable because it's carpet, but just make sure you're comfortable and you're not overthinking. But the best advice I can give to anyone who wants to start meditating is try and have music in the background, but nothing that's going to make your thoughts wander. Try and focus on the music. Be comfortable as possible. But if your mind, don't try and stop your thoughts. Just let them flow. Just let them go. If you're thinking about something, cool. But don't try and focus on that too much. Try and focus, but let it flow.
Right on.
I sound weird, but you know what I mean.
You know, I like that, man. Yeah, I mean, it's something I've been wanting to try, maybe because I'm looking for anything right now to try to kind of get my life sort of like, I don't know, in some sort of an order, because it just seems like I'm surrounded by chaos all the time, and my job doesn't help that at all.
It is a great life changer, because, well, my channel name comes from a reason. Like, I have a horrible temper problem. Like, I'll show you. Yeah, my temper is horrible. I played a video game today, and I don't know if you can see my desk is got a big crack down it.
What did you punch the desk?
I gorilla slammed it. And that's why my neck hurts, because I must have been in a very bad position, and I pulled a muscle in my neck from doing that. I don't want to be like that. I hate having a bad temper, but I've had it all my life, and the main thing that brings it out now are video games and seeing people mistreat others. That makes me sound so like pompous, like I hate injustice, but you know.
You should hate, and that's the problem with here. Not enough people hate injustice when they should. They hate injustice when they shouldn't, because there is none. We're so backwards here. I swear to God, we're going backwards in as far. Oops, sorry. We're going backwards as far as like culture go. Like the culture was progressing, and people were starting to get more and more tolerant of things that they shouldn't be intolerant of in the first place. And I don't know, sometime we started going backwards. I have no idea when that happened, but it just seems to just keep going and going. But hey, I'm not gonna subscribe to it. At least I try not to.
I think eventually we'll start wising up again, and by we I mean us as a culture.
I mean, and it makes me fun. It makes me laugh. It's
mainly the Western world as well, isn't it?
What's that? Oh yeah. What as far as yeah, you're right. Yeah, we are. It's funny because like I hear all the stereotypes and everything, and I'm like, wow, they're so dead on. I mean, like I don't consider myself part of it, but I'm like, yeah, it exists. There are people exactly like that.
Exactly. Like, what do you think a stereotype of a British person is?
Right off the bat, let's see.
Don't worry about offending me. It's fine.
No, I'm trying to think because like I've known so many for so long that I think I've disproven a lot of them already. So I'm trying to think of one I still might have.
Just go for a stereotype that you don't believe, but you hear about.
Everyone's teeth are just fucked up.
Yeah, I love that one. For years, I didn't understand why anyone thought that. Like, my teeth, they're all right.
Yeah, they look good to me. I mean, you know, but it's
I floss twice a day, and I don't mean that stupid dance.
Oh my God, the dance. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Where was I? Yeah, I didn't understand for the longest time. But then I saw people on a show called Jeremy Kyle. And holy crap, I have never seen more disgusting teeth in my life. There is a show in the UK called Jeremy Kyle.
What is it?
Oh.
With what in it? I don't want to drink a screwdriver. I'm good.
What?
I'm good. She made a screwdriver. She wants me to drink it.
What's a screwdriver?
Okay, here. Yeah, I can't have much alcohol, otherwise I'll be sick for days.
It's an orange juice.
Screwdriver, vodka and orange juice.
Ah.
It's great because you can't taste the vodka.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, the only alcohol I've ever drank was some of the quote-unquote girly drinks and vodka.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Some of the only drinks I've ever had was quote-unquote girly drinks. You know, the stuff that tastes like pop and vodka.
You like a good strawberry daiquiri at the end of the day, do you?
Nah, I don't like alcohol. But the stuff I've had.
Bartender, sex on the beach, please. I don't find you attractive. No, the drink.
Where was I before the screwdriver came in?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I've lost my track because my brain is awful with memory.
You're in good company.
Was it with the teeth?
Oh yeah, with the teeth, yeah, and the stereotype and the teeth and everything. Yep.
Oh yeah, in the UK there is a TV show called Jeremy Kyle. It's fairly similar to Jerry Springer. It brings on people with problems and, well, no offense to Jerry Springer, but he just seems like he doesn't try and help them. He's just like, hey, look at these freaks. Jeremy Kyle, he does seem like he wants to help people, but it is a freak show at the end of the day. But the people that come on there, they are people from our, like, I don't want to sound pompous, but I pity them because they seem to come from very low income families, and that's probably the reason they have fucked up teeth. Their teeth are so bad. They're like missing some, and they look like they've got...
One's going this way, the other one's going that way. They're always kind of blackish.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think when people say British people have bad teeth. I'm like, no, but that loud minority does. But like When I say loud minority, I mean loud minority of people with that bad teeth structure. Because it's not even the structure; they just don't take care of it. They probably spend more on alcohol and bifters, as they're called.
A bifter? What's that?
It's a cigarette.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
They look like they put it out on their teeth.
That's
Oh.
so funny. Exactly, dude. But I mean, like, I know personally that's not true, but it's
Yeah.
the first one I can think of that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I used to think that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
that and tea drinking. I think the only British stereotype. I don't actually like tea. I've given it a fair run. I've tried tea, even Japanese tea, which is supposed to be better. Didn't care for it. Didn't taste very nice to me.
I've never had tea I liked. Nope.
Yeah. I don't even like hot drinks in general. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm a coffee drinker myself.
no, that's an American stereotype there.
What's that?
Coffee drinking. Yeah.
It's not a stereotype. It's a fact. I don't know anybody who's over the age of 16 that does not drink coffee religiously every morning.
It's fair enough. Like, what's a true thing for British people? We complain a lot, and that's one thing. I don't know if you know this, but it's a stereotype, at least in Europe, that British people complain a lot, and it's true. I complain a shit ton. Weather's I won't complain when it's too hot and sunny, but it's fucking raining again. So cloudy.
Well,
The snow won't go away.
it's damn snow. Gotta shovel it every day. There's my
Ashley
Irish
looks-
accent again. But
I'll do a proper
okay.
northern accent for you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like this is my northern accent. So people up north, like Jon Snow, he's supposed to sound a bit like this.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
No, you know nothing, Jon Snow. I love northern accent.
Now, like they call that accent something specific because, like, I've seen like casting calls for different parts of that show, and they describe the English accent in a certain way, and it's not northern; it's the Queen's accent or something like that.
The Queen's.
It's something like that. I don't forget. I don't know.
When I think of the Queen's accent, I think of the very posh type of
posh.
Quite.
I deal with a lot of posh accents because
that's the British stereotype that everyone speaks like this, and we have a stick up our asses.
Just like Max Chilton does. Yes. Mm-hmm. See, he used to be an F1 driver. Came over IndyCar. I had him on the show, and his accent drove me fucking insane.
Did he have one of those?
Oh yeah, and every British or Australian driver in the paddock cannot stand his ass, and they all say the same thing. He's very posh, and they go, "He's very posh," and they all stick the pinky out.
I love Australians. Like, they're so laid back and chill.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I mean, I love the way they talk because they end everything they say in like a question, in the hyperport influx. I'm not going to do the accent, but literally everything they say sounds like a question.
I got told by someone once that the best way to do an Australian accent is to grit your teeth and try and sound Cockney, because a lot of the Australians who came to Australia from England, they were Londoners or Cockneys, a lot of criminals from down there. I'm not doing it justice whilst I'm gritting my teeth. But yeah, a lot of Australians come from England, as we are known.
Oh yeah, that's a
lot of criminals from England, and
we can all thank James Cook for that one.
You know what? Good on them, because Australia is beautiful.
It really is. But I mean,
Fucking hot,
and I mean, we can all give them a round of applause for being the only people that have lost a war to an animal. So there you go. Long live the emu. That's what I say.
That is it's a good war.
Yeah,
Good war for naturalists.
Yeah, that led me to one of my all time favorite YouTube channels. It's called Salmonella Academy. It's an automated channel, dude. You'll be in fucking tears because his channel is directly surrounded with animals. Like I think he's also in college or university to be a biologist. And every video,
Oh, what was his thing called?
it's called Salmon.
Salmon is in the fish.
It's Sam and then
Oh,
Nella, Salmonella, and then Academy. Or if you just search the Great Emu War, he's the second video.
oh, I've seen this guy's stuff around. Yeah, I've seen this.
PewDiePie even did one on him. And instead of destroying it, he went, "That's funny. That's right there is funny shit." And I was like, "Wow, right on."
Oh, he reminds me of who is it? Well, the art style reminds me of Grade A Under A, but I haven't seen his stuff in a long time.
Yeah, actually, he just uploaded a new one. I mean, like,
he did, yeah, he did recently.
yeah, I think it was. I mean, like, the header for my my Twitter channel was um, nothing stops until the nuns stop meowing or some shit.
What?
It was the hysterical thing. It was the hysterical laughing video that he did, where like a bunch of nuns just started laughing and then they kind of died of laughter.
Wow.
It was kind of ridiculous and strange, but that's what he kind of goes from. Like, I mean, he did a whole video on the strike, the bird, the strike. It's hysterical. It was fucking hysterical. He goes,
This is Salmonella Academy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, like if you start the video, he's got that orchestra sound that everybody knows. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
And then he goes into it. He's like a stick figure. And then as he goes through the story, it's all animations. Like, I mean, he did one on Tycho Brahe, fucked up his name terribly. Didn't really get into anything the guy was real famous for, but what he did get into was fucking hysterical.
Oh, that sounds. Yeah, I like the look of this guy.
I'm
I've
telling
seen
you,
his
man.
stuff around, but I don't think I've ever actually gone on any of his videos. But
Yeah, I mean, trust me, dude. You binge watch his channel and you'll be in fucking tears. I'm telling you, like I've never laughed so damn hard watching his shit. He is hysterical.
yeah, I'll definitely give him a look. I've added it to my watch later. If you like stuff like this that are educational while still being kind of funny,
No, yeah, definitely.
have you ever heard of Tierzu?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, Tierzu is fantastic. He came up last year actually. He's fairly was it last year? Yeah, he's fairly recent in the YouTube game, but he's just exploded because his stuff is really entertaining.
Awesome.
Like I don't know if you play video games very much, but anyone who I've just linked him there.
Cool.
Anyone who likes the natural world or video games anyone who likes either of those things should really like his channel because he explains the natural world in terms of video games, like their builds in a video game. Like, okay, how do I put this? Have you ever played? Have you ever played Dark Souls or anything like that?
No, like I have a lot of video gaming shit constantly from the original Nintendo all the way to my PC and everything. Like I bought a $5,000 PC just for sim racing, because why not? I guess it was
Oh, fair
impulse.
enough.
Yeah, I mean, like I have the brand new the Aurora 7 Alienware. The thing's kind of badass. I mean, it comes with like a 32-inch curved 4K monitor. It's amazing. Yeah, because I have this wheel here. You see, like it's a Porsche wheel.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and that's my sim racing thing. But then, like, I got the new Xbox, new PlayStation, the last PlayStation, all the Nintendos and everything. But as far as like, I mean, like, is Dark Souls more like a role play, like a RPG type of style game?
Well, they call it a dark RPG, like dark fantasy RPG, but it's the reason I tried to use that is because it's fairly mainstream game to play. Where you can have different builds. Like you can play as a tank, you can play as like a mage, you can play as like a pyromancer, so on and so forth. So if you understand that type of gameplay, he explains each different group of animals or species or whatever in a similar fashion. So for example, humans have a maxed out intelligence stat, but they're very very weak, so their power stat is very low. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yep.
Whereas like
I mean, if we never developed the whole tool building thing, I don't think we would be here by now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and he ranks them as well on like a tier list. It's named Tier Zoo. So humans are an S tier, which is the highest ranking, because intelligence, max intelligence, tool use, and so on. Dogs are an S tier because they're like he calls them a very good support class, the best support class in the game for humans. And so they've specialized so well, they've tagged along with humanity. Same with cats. And a good example of a wild S tier is like a crocodile, because they're perfect predators.
Right. Yep.
Big, nothing can challenge them, and when they grab something, they kill it and eat it. Simple.
Yeah. It's like once they got you, that's pretty much it. You might as well just give in.
Yeah. He doesn't rate cheetahs very well though, which is fair enough, because a cheetah, it's for a big cat, it's fairly weak. It's a very specialized hunter, and it can't run for very long. It can do it for very fast. It can be very fast, but if it makes a kill, it gets its kill stolen very often by hyenas, leopards, lions, wild dogs. It's not a very good fighter.
Right.
But you see what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's maxed out its speed stat, but its durability and its power stat sucks. And it can't really fall back on an intelligence stat and so on.
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of know exactly what you're talking about. Like a long time ago, I was in the Magic the Gathering card game a lot, and it came with a lot of like power stats and everything else, and what it was and everything. I had the best cleric deck you would drool over if you were into that sort of thing. I was unbeatable as long as I stayed in the game 9 rounds. I was unbeatable. I couldn't beat anybody. I would just wait them out to death pretty much.
Oh, that sounds like a cheese strategy, as we call it.
Well, the few cards that I have, it was if you try to throw power at me, I'll just reflect it back to you, and you can't do nothing about it because I had a one of those legend cards out or whatever, and it turned out to be it's like one of those things where it's don't even bother. I was a don't even bother playing type of guy.
Oh, it sounded effective.
It was. I won a lot of games. Yeah. But after a while, you start playing with the same people. You start to know the same cards they got, and then it just kind of got boring. And then after that, never really kept going with it. It was all about the people I was hanging out with at the time that they were into it.
I always like the art style of the cards because they look really nice.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, some of the art on them is pretty fucking amazing. Yeah, honestly.
So, isn't it made by the same people who made Dungeons and Dragons, like the Wizards of the East Coast or West Coast or whatever they are?
I believe so. I believe like they kind of go hand in hand. If you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, you normally play Magic as well. It's kind of like the same kind of thing. I mean, a lot of the same characters were like almost interchangeable. I believe.
Ah, awesome.
But yeah, man.
Oh, my
Right on. So,
I'm just gonna like. It's getting a bit late for me now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're over near Liverpool. It's about so 2 to 7. So that's what, like a 5 hour. 5 hour? Is that 5 hour? Yeah. So okay, yeah, because he was 6 hours here. So do you have a time zone difference right in the middle of your country?
No, it's all the same time zone.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm just wrong then, as usual. So real quick, like is there? I'm going to talk to you about it afterwards, but we'll see if Skott wants us to put any a short story on after this, like we did with Ronnie last week. But which, by the way, Skott was in. It was the Blink that Ronnie did, which I thought was great. By the way, I thought you did a great job, awesome job in it. By the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean that was a great.
I love that story.
Yeah, me too, man. I really did. I love that shit. Just want to let you know, SETI, not STAI, but SETI, is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, not life. I just want to throw that out there.
Did I pronounce it right in the story? Did I call it SETI?
Well, you said SETI, so I knew what you meant. But then when you kind of you spelled out you set out the acronym, you said life instead of intelligence. I thought that was funny. I even asked Ronnie about.
That's a habit I have. Like, my brain will read a sentence before I actually have a chance to say it out loud, and it'll find like a synonym,
Right.
or it'll give a word or a term that means more or less the same thing, and I don't know why I do it. I can't consciously do it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a big thing. It's just something I caught, but search for life, intelligence, it's the same thing in the end, honestly. Yeah. It could be SETI or it could be SETL.
Settle.
It would mean the same damn thing.
Yeah, I think my brain just auto-completed my sentence.
But I mean, either way, I've gotten a lot of feedback on it, and people love the story, so,
Awesome.
Just want to let everybody know that this is the man that did the other voice that Ronnie didn't. So there you go. This was Ronnie's friend that did all the algorithm and found care of Earth's admin. I thought that was hysterical.
Yep.
He was like, why that? He's like, I had to sound like I was important.
And I was important.
Yes, you
I
were.
figured it out.
Exactly. That was the guy who figured out there was nothing left to live for. So.
Hey, at least the Earth got the dinosaurs back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, version 5.3, right? Rock on.
That's the Jurassic period, baby.
Yeah,
That's the golden age of the dinosaurs.
Yeah. By the way, just, real quick, favorite dinosaur. I don't think I saw it on Twitter, or if you did put it on there, I didn't see it yet because I think I had asked in your thread.
Yeah. You replied to it as well after I said, but
did I? Figures because I have no freaking memory.
It's okay. As I said, I'm the same with my memory. I love the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
What? You just unlocked it. I remember now.
It's got the strongest bite force of any animal known to history. Apparently, we have to speculate.
Our best guesses are.
Yeah, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is just such a brute of a dinosaur, and it's just so cool.
Hell yeah.
It's so cool.
You know what? I did reply to it. I said, yeah, and his little arms were adorable. That's what I put. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think I went Stegosaurus. I always love that animal. It's like, it just looked like a walking tank.
Oh, you want to walk in tank? I mean, Kylosaurus is definitely more your style because it's got armor plating, osteoderms on its back.
Oh, no kidding! I'll have to look into that. That's a word I've never heard before, actually.
But you ever heard of scoots on a crocodile?
Yes.
That's what they are. Scoots,
okay.
osteoderms. Term means bony skin. Oste, bone, derm, skin. That's how I remember.
There you go. Well, you're much smarter than me, apparently. I mean, if anybody has clocked on to anything throughout this entire show, it's you're much more intelligent than I am.
No. Remember, I have very focused interest due to my Asperger's, so I'm really good with animals, but I don't know how to do taxes.
Well, that's what
I'm
block
shit
is
at
for.
maths. Oh, maths is awful for me. God.
I'm actually, that was actually my strong suit. Yeah.
10 divided by 6. I couldn't tell you without thinking about it for a long time.
That would be a whole lot of zeros with after a point. I couldn't even tell you what it is. It'd be 6 divided by 10 would be a little easier.
I probably meant that. See, I'm so shit.
Dude, trust me, like the whole division thing, which number goes first again? You're dividing this into this, so that's how I remember.
Oh, God, I hate maths.
It's okay. I mean, some people, you find your skill and you go towards it. That's what you're supposed to do.
I don't have to deal with it anymore though because I am an adult. I don't have to deal with maths. I have a calculator.
Exactly. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that afterwards. But Scott, thank you for coming on, man. It's been a great talk. I've had a lot of fun having you on. Hopefully, you come on again soon. I really hope so. It'd be great to have you and Ronnie on at the same time. That'd be even great. And hey, we will throw in the Teach. It's Doctor Creepin. I always call him the Teach. But yeah, we'll throw him into, and that'll be a crazy nuts little show going on. I wonder what the conversation even turned into there, but that'd be great. But definitely, guys, check out Nature's Temper on YouTube, and on Twitter. It's Nature's Temper. Very easy to find. And Mr. Pie, thank you for coming on, sir. And hopefully you'll hear a little something from his channel, and you'll get to enjoy something that he does that I enjoy listening to almost every day. So, Scott,
thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, brother. So, I mean, I don't know how to end a podcast, so I just kind of, just say a quick goodbye and everything. Oh, also, reddragonsradio.com, everybody, and Twitter, it's Way Off Topic Radio. Just drop the A because Twitter sucks.
The Canary Song by Manon Lysand. Tweet, tweet. The canary's call echoed against the tunnel's damp walls, leading us deeper into darkness. We'd long since left the vicinity of our mining lights, relying on lanterns to navigate the porous cave and its uneven muddy floor. Where else were we supposed to go? The earthquake had obliterated our only exit. It was either stay put and risk starving to death, or proceed through the mountain's natural tunnels in hopes of finding freedom. Carson, an experienced miner, had begun leading us from the front. The fear of the unknown had me unnerved, but I knew we'd be okay. As long as the canary kept singing, we'd be okay. Tweet, tweet. The ceiling encroached on us as we advanced, bringing its finger-shaped stalactites closer and closer toward us. I wiped sweat from my brow and peered ahead. Darkness. Tweet, tweet. We walked for hours without a breath of fresh air. I could feel myself growing tired, but refused to slow my pace. If my team could keep walking, then so could I. The shuffling from our feet, the canary's tune, and the sound of dripping water were all that was heard in the dim tunnel. We weren't wasting precious oxygen on idle chit-chat. Tweet, tweet. The farther we went, the tighter the passage. My head began to spin from fatigue and dehydration. I needed to throw up, but I couldn't allow myself to do so. In such a small place, I knew the scent would linger for the rest of our journey. The canary's call was a beacon of hope. It was my light at the end of the tunnel, a promise that the next stretch of journey would be safe. It kept me and my fellow miners from panicking. As long as the canary kept singing, we'd be okay. Tweet, tweet. I tried to focus on the melody and closed my eyes, imagining the blue sky above my house. I thought about being in my daughter's loving arms, and the days we would spend watching the birds perched on our picket fence. And then I stumbled. I was back in the cave, back in the miserable muck of dirt and sweat. Maybe I just need to distance myself from the others. Perhaps my position near the end of the line was starting to weigh on me. Maybe I just need to feel like I was closer to the exit. I pushed past the procession, head spinning more and more the closer I got to the front. Tweet, tweet. I felt a sinking feeling at the pit of my stomach at the sight of it. The canary lay lifeless in its cage. Carson, face swollen and worn, turned towards me. He slowly brought a grime-caked index finger to his lips, soundlessly shushing me, before dropping his hand. He turned to the front, curled his lips into an O, and blew. Tweet, tweet. I understood then that we weren't making it out alive.